Yeah, I'm kind of onto maps right now.
Yeah.
That started with it started with the one that's here that I have pulled out because this is the continent that I travel on the most. But I'm mapping my bio, mapping my biography, and so I have a map of Europe in the flat file, and I've got a map of the Middle East in the flat file, and I've got a map of there's New Zealand over there. That is getting ready. I'm going to take that one with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take that one with me. So I've kind of pre-drawn what I know I'm going to. I've been to Christchurch, so I've already kind of started Christchurch, and basically I'm getting a jump on it because I'm going to be taking that in a tube and drawing on the road as I travel the whole island. While I'm making those other little ones, I'm also going to be documenting on this map. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then this is, everything, everywhere I've been and adventures in North America. And I just like the story that it tells. It's probably a series that I will never sell. I can't see anyone really being interested in them, and I don't even want to sell them. And maybe this is where the commercial jobs come in, because I did a few recently. So financially or something, I've paid rent for a couple months. So I don't really, I can work on some work that I just don't care. I don't know. It just seems real true and fine art. It's just like, this is the shit I want to do. I don't care about a viewer. I don't care about anybody taking this home, or if I can turn it into a print, or, I'm just doing a project that I wanted to do. And so, and in a way, telling a really interesting story. It's become, this drawing, while it's out the most because I'm always working on it, and I just redid the whole Southwest for the last adventure that I was on. It's a conversation starter. Many people come in here and just want to know about this and that. And every one of these things is a story I could just go on and on about. I learn a little bit about myself in checking it out. And it's just this mapping series. I'm very interested in exploration. I'm interested in early maps. I did a really big drawing recently that is 16 feet by 8 feet. That is the entire map of the world.
Yeah, I've
with
seen
all the shipping routes and stuff. Yeah. That's in multiple panels right back there.
Right.
And not only are all the shipping routes shown with ships filled with containers, but all the topography, no borders are on the world map. It's just the topography of our planet, and so that is just super interesting to me to have done that one, because that caused me to learn about the topography, ways to draw the topography that I was nervous to do on this one. So now these will get better. I'll be able to bring out all these mountains more. I guess what I'm saying is I'm always working on multiple drawings. So what I learned from one can kind of turn into another one, and I'm always rotating stuff through.
Plus, I think when you do these things, like I said, the rent's paid, you don't have to worry about that, for a couple of months, and you work on these. There is then the opportunity for people in the more commercial arm of what you do, or people related to the more commercial arm of what you do, to kind of go, hey, that's something that actually might work for an idea that we've got.
That happens often, man. That happens a lot of times. Where, and I did. What was it? Chili's. I did a map for Chili's where they're talking about how their pork gets purchased in Denmark and makes it to New York and ends up in Texas. And so I drew Texas, and I drew New York, and I drew Holland.
Yeah.
And all because they saw, on Instagram, some maps that I had done. And so, it took me like 3 days, and they were kind of picky about certain things, and I did have to do a little bit of different things than I would normally do with a map drawing. But, whatever.
How many followers have you got on Instagram?
Not an insane amount. I've got like 5,000. Yeah. Maybe 5.5 or something.
Yeah. To me, that's an insane amount.
It's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm not complaining. Yeah. It's pretty good. That's something that I just never. Let's see. Sometimes there's been days where I've been like, how do I get more followers, or how does that work, or how do people like? How do I? But really, I just try to. I used to be like a 1 post a day guy. And then I became more comfortable with like 2 posts a day. And then there was a time when I got a rush of followers, and rush of comments. And I was like, had a show and something got posted, and there was a time when like there was a 3-day period where I was like, whoa, and that gave me a little more confidence to be like, people care about what I'm doing, I'm gonna post twice a day, and so and then that felt more comfortable, and so 2 or 3 times a day, I'm into it. And I think, I don't know if you want to talk about social media, but I love being an artist in the time of Instagram. I think it's fucking awesome. I think it's made galleries kind of like, some galleries completely irrelevant, you know what I mean? There's like everybody that really cares about my work can contact me right away, and it happens. And I want to be part of galleries' worlds, but in a lot of ways, dude, I know this is on camera, I'm doing better now since I've had some galleries like out of my life.
Yeah.
I really am, man.
So do you find you sell things through Instagram?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the guy that sells a ton of things like that, but I have had occasions recently where, it's more like commissions have happened that way. Yeah, people have been like, I really like what you're doing here. I would love for you to, draw my truck. I've been working on this truck. I see you drawing all these Hollywood trucks. Could you draw my truck? That kind of thing. Or did a big page of cacti that was seen on Instagram, and I was able to make a sale. Cacti. That was based on a trip from Flagstaff to Tucson. Or it was inspired by that. Yeah. So that's the other thing is, I think I got that across, but I'll make art about a drive from Tucson to Flagstaff. I'll make art about a novel I've read. I'll make art about, an issue in the world. I'll make art about you and I having this conversation together and these 2 cameras looking at me, whatever. I really feel like there isn't anything that isn't valid. I think that the world realizes that, it's not like some bold statement I'm making, but there's nothing that isn't open game for making a creative project.
Yeah.
I believe that. And then with that in mind, you don't get frustrated, I feel like somebody could throw me in a jail cell with a piece of paper, and there's enough shapes and lines and, you know what I mean? There's enough information in the lock and in the, there's enough there to like make some really fucking crazy drawings, Maybe not after 16 years in that thing, but you know what I mean? Yeah. The most boring kind of location, I feel like, is still plenty of information to put in your head and like fucking jumble around.
I was gonna ask about that. What do you think, because what you're essentially doing, I suppose, is taking the world around you and, you kind of processing it somewhat visually and kind of, whether it's 3-dimensionally with cardboard or drawings. What do you think you get out of, I know it's a release in some respects and it's almost like compulsion, you just want to do it, but what do you think is the drive underneath that, why is that the satisfying thing ultimately? That's a fairly deep kind of psychological question.
Totally. I do get a certain feeling. There is a certain high and a buzz that I get from like seeing something in my head, like envisioning something, having a vision or whatever, thinking of something, and then drawing that thing, and then having that sit on a table, and being able to, because of the materials I work with, clay would be the same way. You can kind of form things quickly. And the materials that I work with, I can kind of build those shapes. I could probably build a microscope sitting on a table, or maybe not a beautiful one, but I could build something that most people would be like, that's a microscope, I could build that probably as fast as not as fast, but within the same amount of time as like a nice drawing of one, and so being able to have that, just that process is what I'm talking about, the process from an imagination to a drawing to a 3D object, and then to be able to walk around that or like just look around it, or on a bigger scale, sometimes I get into projects where it's just really fun as an animal on this planet to build something as big as yourself.
Yeah.
There's like this is fucking, dude, this is as big as me, and it all came, like there's some kind of weird connection between here, out of here, and like this whole like measure cut, the whole like, all right, I need to make a tire that has spokes on it, and then think how would that shape. It's like the game, especially with working with paper, the game of how would a form open and fold up, and how do I build that so that there's the least amount of seams, so I can fold that up and it can be one, there's like, I could build this and build this and build this and this and stick it all together, or I could build, figure out a complex shape that kind of folds up, and pushing myself to, just build more complicated things. That's kind of the buzz you get. It's just like a personal thing.
Yeah.
And then
it's kind of like a bit of a challenge. Like, I wonder if I can do that.
Can I do that? Yeah. Can I do that? I wonder if I can do that. And then, I feel like we keep going back to social media, but there's definitely something about that keeps you going, like a peer pressure game that you play with Instagram, where if I start a drawing and I start bragging about it, I gotta finish, dude, because people, if I have to finish the drawings because people are into it and they want to know too, and so I'm like, I could abandon it, no one would care, you know what I mean? But I'm like, it's like, oh dude, I gotta show that tomorrow, I gotta show another one tomorrow, and that's not like the whole reason I make work, but there is always like a push to finish something. And it's the same way with people trying to lose weight. If they start bragging about it online, they've got to do it, dude, because they can't be fatties the next Christmas, And so there's something about like posting a project that keeps you going on through it.
I think it's also that it's an instant audience as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you could also get into like, oh, are people now stealing my ideas? Because they, but then also I get to look at everyone else's ideas on their Instagram. So it's just like, I think people learn more quickly, and things happen faster because of the ability to see all these images so fast, And one day you see as many as I'm sure 300 years ago people saw in like a lifetime.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing with Instagram versus Facebook is, I follow you and vice versa on Instagram, and we're also Facebook friends. But I find that with Facebook, it's kind of it tends to be more, and this is not to do with the algorithms and algorithm and that stuff. But it tends to be more like sharing, not just images, but other kind of things. That
articles.
In life. Yeah, and articles. And
you're talking about Facebook?
Yeah. Facebook.
Yeah, articles and.
But Instagram seems to be, because it seems to be less personalized, that there's a freedom to kind of do something which is much more like exhibiting than Facebook is much more kind of like inviting some friends around, while Instagram is kind of like sticking things, out in the public.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then video, I don't know, the advent, the ability to show videos to the world, that just got me so into video. I was always into it, but I would make movies with my brother, and then you just show them to your parents, and you can, who else do you show it to? Now you can. Check it out! I just made some cars move in some traffic, like last Friday night. We were like, didn't want to go out, we were tired, we just put on some cameras and set a movie up, and like, and Nadine and I just made traffic run in the city over there, and then we just posted it like that next morning, and everyone was like, that is awesome, what, dude, oh, what? And we're just goofing, And that is definitely, going to lead to something, and I want to do more and more of that. In fact, I'm going to Boston. As soon as I get back from New Zealand, I will go to Boston for a week, and I'm going to build cars like that cop car. I'm going to build traffic that big with like 60 kids, and then we're going to build an intersection, and then we're going to just do traffic for the whole day, just like stop motion traffic. And like if somebody wants to make a crash, then they've got to bring an ambulance in, and then we're just going to like a day at this intersection. And so again, it's another project where it's kind of like the boats, but I'm taking it to the next level. We're gonna all make a different car, and then do some traffic. So that'll be cool. But yeah, dude, Instagram, social media, all that stuff. I feel fortunate in a way to be. There's always the next thing, but it's just really cool to be a young artist. Or a middle-aged artist, I don't know what I am, that can get to his audience, like, Totally insane.
The weird thing is that if someone's actually watching a VR headset, they're gonna feel like they're sitting right there on the floor, just. It looks a bit weird, I think, probably.